Hello everybody, I'm Loboroda and welcome to the third part of the Nuzlocke run. It's still alive, it's still going. I don't know how long it will go on, but I hope I can finish it. If you want to watch the first video, just click on the link in the top and let's just continue with the run. So the first map today is 2-6, hold on tight. This is a different map, so far we haven't had one of those yet, and it will be a bit tricky because we have to defend 2 exits, so I need to have a couple of operators, which sucks. However, I try to use Mayor here and her dogs to help me hold more positions at once. Let's see how this goes. Okay. First of all, I wait a bit to see where the first wave of enemies will be coming from, because I do have enough DP to react. They're coming from the top, and it's only one character or one melee enemy. So I start with Absinthe and hope that she is enough to kill them. But I do have Vinya ready to deploy on the fly if needed. So it seems like she's taking away 1/4 of the hit points with one shot, and she can actually kill them before they pass her. So she can hold this on her own for now. The next batch is coming from the bottom, and I use Savage here and let her look up because she has a skill that will deal damage over 4 tiles, so she can also hit something at the top if something breaks through. Next up for Linux, because I do want to have a bit more of splash damage here and heal combined, because I saw that snipers are part of this enemy setup and elite snipers, and they will probably do a lot of damage. Now the dogs are pretty annoying because they're fast, and combined with the snipers behind them, they are too much for Absinthe to take care of. So I deploy Mayor, and together with Absinthe they are hopefully enough, but I do need to use the skill of Savage to get the first dog. Now with the help of Frelinik, I can out-heal the damage those elite snipers are doing to Mayor, and she will survive. Casters are usually not a big problem. As long as you survive, you can kill them because they're very slow, they will stop all the time to attack. As long as they don't kill you, they're easy prey. Unfortunately, one enemy is getting through because I deployed the robot dog on the wrong place. I should have done this before the exit first, but well, just a bit of misplay. The robot dog in the front will just be there to keep them a bit at bay and just delay the advance of the enemies a bit, and the one at the bottom will help Savage to not have too many enemies at once, just like the one on top. She can only block 2 and they're just too much coming. Whenever there are too many enemies, I will activate Savage skill to do damage in a line, but another one will get through because it's just too much. But overall, that's it. Let's check the score then. I deployed 4 5-star operators, and with 7 points each, that means 28 points in deployment. I didn't lose any of them, so 0 points on that, but 2 enemies got through, so 2 points for the enemies. That means I have overall 30 points in this stage. It's a good start for this video. Let's hope I can continue this trend. And let's go to the next one. 2-7, a matter of public health. Now this one is even more annoying than the previous one because we have once again 2 exits, but on the opposite side of the map. So as you can see in my squad, I try to take with me a couple of self-sustain operators or non-medic but still heal operators like Nightmare, Podenko or Sora, and Hung and Matterhorn. And I try to keep them alive with those characters so I can save a bit my medics, or use Lancer 2 if I need a small boost. And apart from that, I try to go with casters to get rid of the drones because I'm running a bit low on snipers and I do know that I need them later on. So let's have a look at the map. As always, waiting for the first enemy to come to see where I need to deploy. And the first batch of enemies will be coming from the top. So I decided to go with Scarp here because he has a long range operator and he has a slow, and he can also attack drones. And before I do anything else on this side, I want to see how much damage he can take. So I wait a bit. And I deploy Hung on the right side. And with the slow and his range attack, he can actually take care of them without taking much damage. So he'll be fine on his own for a while. Hung will obviously be fine on his own because he can heal himself. The question is just, can he do enough damage to kill enemies fast enough? Now with 2 droppers, it won't be enough, so I go with Nightmare right next to him, just to deal out a bit more damage. And she helps to clean enough so he can have his 3 blocks filled. Now, since there are also more coming on the left side, I deploy Podenko there, and she will also help with a bit of damage there and can also help killing the drone that is there. And from here on out, I'll just wait. There are stronger enemies coming, but since there are not a lot of them, Hung can easily hold them, and with the help of Nightmare's heal, he will not fall. However, I do deploy Leonhard behind him, because he has a nice AoE damage and he has this wave which can do a lot of damage and can charge 2 times. So as you can see, this wave deals a lot of damage, especially to the smaller enemies, which takes away a lot of pressure on Hung. And it will also do a lot of damage to the defensive drones flying around. Whenever it's ready, I'll use it, and there are multiple enemies. And Leonhard can even catch those drones coming from the top, which is nice. And then it's just waiting until the whole wave is cleaned. So I needed to deploy a bit more operators this time. 4 5 stars and 1 4 stars, meaning I needed to have 33 points in deployment. If Hung would have been E2 or if Nightmare would have been E2, maybe they would have been enough on the right side, but without any of them I needed to have this additional damage from Leonhard there. But nobody died, so 0 points on that, and I also didn't let anybody through. So another 0 points on that, which means the total score for this stage is 33. At this point, as long as I'm under 40, I'm pretty happy about this, because I do need to use a lot of my high star characters. Even though you can see I still have 4 stars left, I just don't think they're doing it right now. So let's go to the next one. Now for S28 Trap 1, I decided to go for something a bit more risky. I only have 1 exit to defend at the bottom left, and I want to use as little operators as possible. So I will bunker up on the left as much as possible, and you can see I only have 1 sniper with me, which is Province. I'll try to compensate that with, for example, Robe or Estina if I need to, but I actually hope that Province alone can deal with everything. And I want to focus on Neil for healing. So this can go horribly wrong, but let's see. So, as mentioned before, I only want to do this with a handful of characters. So I wait for the first enemies to come, and they're from the bottom line, so I deploy Vinya. Since I know that I will be having enough DP to get Province out right away, and she will help. So I will put her on this spot and let her look to the right. Now Province does have one disadvantage here. She's not a sniper that focuses on drones, so therefore it can be that she's not attacking the right target, at least from my point of view. Next up I deploy Neil, and I hope that this is what I need to get through this stage. Since there are only 36 enemies, I am confident that this could be enough. However, Province does have her problems with focusing, and you can see here that one drone is getting through because she's focusing the wrong enemy. from this point onward, I just hope that not too many are getting through and that she gets the right target from time to time. So 2 drones are through, but there are only 12 enemies left, so I'm not yet there to deploy another operator. I'll just pray at that point. And Province does kill, so it's looking good. However, unfortunately, Vinya dies and 1 more enemy is getting through. And now the fun part happens. Neil and this metal crab are in a deathmatch for ages. I'm not doing enough damage, the metal crab's not doing enough damage, and they're just sitting there and hitting each other for a solid 4.5 minutes. So I'm at 20 times 20 speed right now. That was boring to watch, to say the least. But the stage was done. So that went pretty well, I would say. I deployed 1 4-star and 2 5-star characters, meaning I had 19 points in deployment, which is pretty low. I did lose 1 Vinya, so 1 point for that. And unfortunately, due to province targeting and Vinya's death, 3 enemies got through, so 3 additional points here. That gives me an overall score of 23 for this stage, which is pretty solid. And let's hope the next one goes as good. Next up is S29 Trap 2. It's the same map as before, but with different enemies. And with different enemies, I mean a lot of casters and elite casters. So I probably can't do it with just 3 enemies, and especially not with only a defender as a healer. So I have Breeze in here and maybe even Sora, I'm not sure yet. And I want to do something a bit more sneaky this time around on the left side, but you'll see that in the stage itself. This time around I'm planning to use Gravel on the bottom. Since he only uses 5 DP, I wait, because I actually want to bring out my sniper Sessa first, because he needs a lot of points and I want to check how his damage is looking in this stage. So with 26 he comes out and Gravel will be up next. From the previous stage I just hope that the bottom enemy will wait again before going down, and luckily he does, so I do have enough time to get more DP. If he's moving early, I'll probably deploy Matterhorn, but I hope that I can bring out Croissant. And he's nice, he waits until I have my 19 points and Croissant comes out, and he's actually moving right that instance. So next up, I'm a bit worried because Sessa is not doing a lot of damage. I just can't get this guy to work and I'm just not a huge fan of him. Since the first sniper is coming, or caster is coming, I bring out Breeze so I have some heal, and I activate Sessa's skill because the first pair of drones is coming and I want to see how he's doing against them. And he needs 2 shots, which is bad. So I immediately deploy Rope and hope that she can help with the drones. And once there are enough enemies on the left side, I activate Croissant's skill and send them flying. Now from here on out, it's basically just waiting. I don't want to change my squad in any shape or form. I already deployed a couple of operators, and I'm a bit worried that drones might be coming through, but then again, there are not that many enemies. So Rope helps with binding them and Sessa tries to kill them, but unfortunately 1 drone is coming through and not much I can do there. Once again, once there's a cluster enemy on the left side, Croissant just throws them over the pit, and then I activate the skill on Sessa again and hope that he kills those drones, and he actually does. Unfortunately those casters focus down Rope, which sucks, but it is what it is. And then we have another stalemate of Sessa against caster, but luckily not 4.5 minutes, and it was over relatively quickly. This time around I had to use 2 4 stars and 3 5 stars, meaning I had to use 31 points in deployment. Additionally, rope died, so 1 additional points on that, and also 1 drone got through, so 1 more additional point. That gives me overall a score of 33 for this stage. I think with a different sniper this could have been way easier, but I am just a bit scared of upcoming stages and my lack of snipers that are up there. And as I said in the stage itself, I just can't get Sessa to work well, so he's not really my favorite sniper operator in my team. But let's just take it and go to the last map of this video. The last map of today is 2-8 No Promises, and once again a boss map. I already did this in one of my random challenges, and you can check that video out with the link on top. So I kind of know what's going to happen here, and what I want to do is I want to bunker up on the right side and save operators or save sniper operators by using Amiya. She's pretty strong for me and her second skill can do a lot. However, she's stunned afterwards, and what I want to do is I want to play a bit around with Sora and try to use the time where she's stunned to also put everybody else to sleep, so nothing happens in that interval. I don't know if that works because I never did it, it's just a thought that came up, and I think that's now the best time as any other to try it out. So let's see. So my first idea is to deploy Granny. And I want to wait until I know if the left or right side is coming. I think it was left, but I want to be sure, and then I deploy her. Because she's pretty strong, but her skill is what makes her great here. She can block 2, and she gets a good buff, and I hope that I can get that up and running soon. However, the first enemies would get through, so I throw out Estina as well. I plan to use her anyway to slow down the drones, so it's not really changing any of my plans at this point. And she helps get rid of the first couple of enemies. Then I wait until I have 19 points and deploy F-Eater for everybody who's coming on the long way around. Now as soon as the stronger enemies are coming, I activate her skill on Granny, so she can take care of all of those. And I save up points now because I want to bring out Amiya, but I want to time her a bit better to also get out Sora. So now that the first drones are coming, I deploy Sora and I immediately deploy Amiya, because I want Amiya to take the damage from any ranged enemy and not Sora. And I hope that Sora's passive heal will be enough to get Amiya through the stage. F-Eater is already looking a bit bruised, but I think she can handle the rest. So Amiya can also take a decent amount of punches and will get healed up, so I think that's a pretty good setup right now. She will take care of the drones and also of the logger that's coming, or at least a lot of damage for a logger. Now for this enemies I activate Estina's skill. I don't want to use Sora yet because Estina can easily take care of them. And everything is looking fine at this point. Now some enemies drop, which is annoying, especially since they drop on the right side. So I immediately throw down Reed because otherwise I wouldn't be able to catch them, and I don't know how many others are coming to drop. So that was a good point. And now I activate Sora's skill and it actually works. So for the enemies, Amiya is only stunned for a second or 1.5, which is great and takes a lot of the negative side away from Amiya, at least in this stage. And I managed to kill everything. Now for this stage I used up a lot of my operators. I needed to deploy 6 5-star operators. That means I used 42 points in deployment. It's a bit rough, but at this point I'm just happy that I didn't lose. the challenge because I am going to the end nearly, and I can throw them out now without worrying too much. I didn't lose anybody, so 0 points on that one. And I also managed to get every single one, even though it looked close for one drone, so 0 points on the enemies as well. So the total for this stage is 42, which is okay for a boss stage. Everything around 40 I think is fine for boss stages currently. Now let's have a look at my roster. I started with 127 operators, and after the first video I went down to 90 operators. Everything was kind of normal. I used a lot of my 3 stars and 2 stars, a couple of 4 stars needed, but pretty much as expected, I would say. Afterwards I went down to 69 operators and used up most of my 4 stars. And I needed to throw in a couple of 5 stars, but it's fine. And now I'm down to 46. I am still certain that I can do this because my main operators are still there, but when I was thinking at the start that medics and vanguards will probably be the most scarce one and I need to manage them, it seems like snipers are actually my main problem. So let's see how I can do this. So the next episode will be the last one, no matter what happens. Either I manage to finish the challenge or I fail. So tune in to see what's going to happen and what my final score will be. And until that, I see you next time, doctors.